I have sublimated mugs, keychains, tumblers, even car coasters. But today, I'm trying something totally new, a baby blanket. I picked up this super soft one from Hobby Lobby, and I'll be pressing this adorable sleeping bear design I found on Creative Fabrica using my HTVRont Auto Heat Press. It's going to make such a sweet baby shower gift, and I've got a little surprise plan to go along with it. Let me show you how I'm putting it all together. Hey everyone, it's Lean from ColoradoLean.com. Welcome back to the craft room. Let's get started on our project by talking a little bit about our design. As I mentioned, I found this adorable little bear on CreativeFabrica.com, and I printed this on my Epson SureColor F170 sublimation printer with Epson sublimation ink, and it is printed on A-sub sublimation paper. Now, my plan for this design is to go into the corner of the blanket, and I want to make sure that it is, relatively straight. So I did draw a light pencil line on the back of my image. When sublimating a design onto any type of fabric, there is a very good chance that you will end up with the edges of your paper pressed into your fabric. I've had that happen on t-shirts, and I had that happen on a mouse pad when I was only doing a small space. There are a couple of different ways that we can get around this potential straight edge. One way would be to take a pair of scissors and cut around our design. What I like to do is I like to rip around the perimeter of the design very carefully to not rip into the printed image. What this will do is it will feather the edge, and it will hopefully show a little bit less. So I am just going to carefully rip towards me. And I think you can see the difference between this straight edge here and this feathered edge here. Now, again, we want to be very careful not to rip into the design. So I'm going to go ahead and finish tearing around this, and I will be right back with you. And here is what the printed image looks like now. It has a nice feathered edge, and hopefully this will bleed a little bit better into the fabric rather than having very straight, very rectangle square. I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes, and let's talk about our blanket. This particular blanket, it's called an infant blanket from Sublimation Blanks at Hobby Lobby. It is 30 inches by 40 inches, and it is 100% polyester. I think the only problem I have with this blanket, or actually with this brand, is they don't have heating instructions. That is one place where the Make Market brand from Michaels really excels, is they do give you time and temperature suggestions. However, I did check out a couple of different videos online, and the time range was anywhere from 385 degrees to 400 degrees. So I'm going to split the difference at 390 degrees. Before I even get the heat press going, I am going to take this outside and I'm going to shake it. I don't know if there are any fuzzies, large chunks of fuzzies that need to come off, but I definitely want to take care of that first. So I'll be right back with you. And when I come back, we'll have the craft room turned around and we'll be ready to head on over to our HTVRont Auto Heat Press. All right, I have changed the room around. I have shaken out the blanket. And now let's go ahead and get our HTVRont Auto Heat Press turned on and warming up. So the temperature I'm going to start with is 390 degrees. And then I'm going to sublimate that for 60 seconds. And that's where that already is. I'm going to be using a piece of 12 by 12 white Recollections cardstock on the bottom, as well as a piece of uncoated butcher paper. Now with the blanket, I want to put my image on the opposite corner from the tag. So if our tag is here, then I want to put the image in this corner. So I am going to put this like so. And I want to make sure that my seam allowance is hanging off the back and the side of the plate. And most important, we're going to lint roll to get any extra pieces of lint or my hair off of this blanket. Okay. Now, when I did shake this out outside, there actually was quite a bit of fuzz that came out. Now, another thing I want to do is make sure the nap of the fabric is going in the same direction. And then that will just give us a much smoother finished image. And before we even get up to temperature, we're at 285 degrees now. I'm going to go ahead and pre-press this. So I will lay down my butcher paper. I do want to make sure the auto is turned on. And I'm just going to pre-press this for 5 seconds, maybe 7. Okay. Now we did get a bit of a crease in there. And I think it was the odd movement of my butcher paper there. That is going to be just fine. Smooth that out. And now I'm going to place my image. Now, if you put your image down while your blanket is still hot, you want to be very careful not to shift your image. It could be hot enough to heat up the ink, and you could get some smearing and ghosting. So I'm gonna put that right about there. I have a few pieces of heat-resistant tape that I will place on. And then I will cover this with my butcher paper, and we will wait for the HTVRont Auto Heat Press to come up to temperature. All right, we are at 390 degrees, so I will push my plate in, and we will sublimate this for 60 seconds. All right, I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to let this sit here for a few moments to let the gases solidify onto our fabric. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Oh, that is so pretty. Now I am going to use my lint roller over it. That's another trick that kind of helps break up your pressing lines. Oh my gosh, this turned out so pretty. Oh, I love that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get everything turned off, turn back around, and I'll meet you right back at the craft desk. Because, of course, I couldn't just stop at the blanket. I wanted to make a matching baby shower card as well. I started in Canva by setting up a 5 by 3 3/4 inch template and dropped in the same sweet sleeping bear image I used for the blanket, as well as the same font for the sentiment. Once everything was sized correctly, I downloaded the design from Canva, pulled it into Word to double check the sizing. I then printed it on a 110-pound Recollection cardstock on my HP printer. Since I didn't want this printer ink to smear, I did add a super light layer of Distress microglaze. After letting that sit for a minute or two, I buffed off the excess with a paper towel. For the card layers, I picked out a piece of Basil Basic textured cardstock that coordinated with the design. I used 2 dies from the Waffle Flower A2 layers die set to cut the mat and the card front. And those layers are, for the mat, 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and for the card front, 5 inches by 3 3/4. I mounted everything onto a standard A2 size card base made from 110-pound Recollections cardstock. I also added a little strip of leftover basil cardstock inside the card to tie everything together. And here's how it all came together: the personalized baby blanket and the matching card, both featuring this adorable little bear. I love how this turned into such a sweet, coordinated gift set, and I hope it gave you some ideas for combining sublimation with your paper crafts as well. I also put together this handy PDF guide with all the steps I followed to sublimate the blanket. Check the description if you'd like to download it for your next project. I'm curious, have you ever made a handmade gift set like this, mixing different techniques or materials? I'd love to hear what you created down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with a crafty friend. I'll see you back in the craft room soon. Happy crafting!